Hi everyone, welcome back to Between Worlds Tarot. In today's pick a card reading, we are going to look into what gifts or talents are you perhaps overlooking or underestimating right now. And so before we start the reading, if you ever resonate, please subscribe so we won't miss any future readings. Comment down below and press a like button. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. This is actually my second channel, and I do have another one where I post love readings and relationship guidance. If you are interested, you can check the link to my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for staying through this intro, and let's head to the pile selection. For today's reading, I have 3 piles for you, represented by 3 crystals. And so for pile number 1, we have the aquamarine. For pile number 2, we have the opal. And for pile number 3, we have the labradorite. As usual, listen to your intuition and choose the pile that draws you the most. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, you can definitely do that. This reading is timeless and it will resonate whenever you find it. If you have picked your pile, you will find the timestamps in the description box below, and let's start your reading. Hi pile number 1, if you have picked the aquamarine, this is going to be a reading about what gifts or talents are you currently underestimating, and so let's start your reading. So pile number 1, I feel like your energy here that comes through the cards is very fascinating. First of all, with the dices, we have Saturn in the 9th house in Virgo. And one thing that needs our focus today in this reading is related to your gift, that may be something related to learning how to combine faith with discernment, kind of balancing between faith and having belief with being perhaps hypercritical, and not abandoning your ability to question and analyze. Because first of all, we have Saturn in the 9th house in Virgo. Saturn in the 9th house in general is kind of hard energy to be at, but it is also one that shines with time, with age. It's more like you grow into this energy, or you grow into, in a way, defeating the circumstances that kept you limited or held back for a while. Saturn in the 9th house can feel like it's delaying luck. It depends on the sign, it depends on how other planets and signs are situated within the chart. But what we see here with Saturn in the 9th house is a delayed luck. That's just the most basic interpretation, but it's related to how much can you rely on luck? How much can you just bypass hard work and until you realize that maybe that's not in your best interest just yet. And maybe what you need to do first is rely on yourself, rely on making things happen for yourself, having a personal philosophy of working hard on what you believe in, rather than inheriting luck or inheriting beliefs that would set you kind of developing or kind of develop or help you in your path. I hope this makes sense. As I said, Saturn in the 9th house makes you work hard for things that other people may get easily, or might feel like other people have luck that you don't have. And in Virgo here, Saturn in Virgo can be related to a challenge or a test in life related to analysis, building your skills, having the gift of discernment. You don't accept things for face value. You analyze, you criticize, you question before believing. And I feel like your gift can be related to learning how to combine and balance the ability to criticize, to analyze, to discern, with the ability to believe. So there is balance in there that might come in the hardest lessons, but it does come with time. Now, with all of this, it's almost like Saturn says that let me challenge pile number one through giving them unexpected, limiting circumstances or events that make it very hard for them to move in life. That is just metaphorical, but I feel like Saturn in the ninth house people do not have it the easiest way when it comes to, again, things that they would like to march through or towards in life. Life goals are not things that you can get by mere luck. Saturn makes you work very hard there. But also, by working very hard, you cultivate the gift of determination and perseverance. And I want to say that that is the key word to your gift, pile number one. It is the gift of perseverance and determination. You have a natural talent that it's not only talent, a natural, I feel like it's not inherited, it's something that was cultivated within you from a very early age. The Chariot here is saying that you are somebody who may be underestimating how much you can accomplish once you have actually decided your destination. The ninth house is also the house of goals. As I said, it's also the house of purpose and of the future of your life. And the Chariot says that maybe what you are underestimating is your capacity of achievement in life once you understand what matters to you and what is the direction that you want to take in life. Your gift is related to persistence, perseverance, determination, self-mastery, development or self-mastery after gaining direction in life, after you have managed all of these setbacks that we can see. And so I feel like you're underestimating how much you can move forward, even when circumstances are not perfect and even when everything is against you. This is what you are underestimating. And as insensitive as that sounds, a lot of circumstances that we found ourselves in might be very debilitating, and they make us feel like nothing will ever work for us. And as much as that is relatable and real, we can, as humans, I feel like we do underestimate our capacity to keep going despite what's happening or what's limiting us currently. So this is what I would like to tell you, pile number one, is that you're underestimating how much you can achieve and how much you can move forward and be successful in life once you have decided on a direction. And Saturn can make it kind of hard to find that direction at first, but once you decide, things will be way much easier. I actually do have this aspect in my personal chart, which is Saturn in the ninth house, and it's not the best one. It really sets a lot of setbacks and obstacles, and it makes you fight again and again, and you lose again and again, but then perhaps you end up finding a direction and things go way much smoother. Now, with the 10 of Pentacles next, how this gift shows up naturally for you is, I feel like this gift can manifest itself in you understanding what matters in life, what really matters to you. And with that Saturn in Virgo, it can make you have these questions in life about what really matters and what is something that you can work on and put effort on that is can be sustainable and can be durable. And so I feel like it can manifest when in the things that you realize as the most important for you personally, your personal values, what makes the most sense for you when it comes to building something lasting. So I feel like right now, or at some point in life, once you have a direction, or if you have found a direction already, you would be building or working more towards long lasting security and building expertise, rather than chasing something that doesn't last, or short term gratification. And so I feel like this manifests in you knowing exactly what matters in life. So Saturn here gives or teaches the lesson of kind of asking yourself what matters at the end. After all of this struggle, after all of these challenges, what truly matters to you? And once that is found, that is what can be something that you can feel determined to achieve, and it can go way much easier for you because you do have already the power and the stamina that it needs to be achieved. Now, the next card is the Page of Pentacles, answering my question of why don't you recognize this gift right now, or why are you overlooking it? And the Page of Pentacles is brilliant because we have Pentacles energy all around this reading, with the Virgo, with the Ten of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the Seven, the Queen. And those are the questions or the cards that are answering very important questions. We're going to read through all of them, but with this Page of Pentacles, I feel like you don't recognize this gift just yet, or you did not in the past. It's because perhaps there is an underestimation of your own expertise, or maybe you are actually still not experienced enough. It depends really on where you are in life currently, pile number one. With this Page of Pentacles, I feel like there is this element of you not being able to see into the future of what you have already started. And that can make it sometimes discouraging to continue or to persevere. And that makes you underestimate your gift of persevering and being determined to achieve a future that you would want. Also, there is an element of thinking that you are just not mature enough, or not experienced enough, or you're just a newbie, or maybe you're treating this more like an experiment here. But that is more of the Page of Swords, which is the next card. And so I feel like the page here, the Page of Pentacles, has the willingness to start, to improve, to practice, but he doesn't necessarily see into what can be achieved in the future. Rather, it lives in that moment. And so perhaps if you made a mistake, you might feel like you're incapable, while it's just an experience that you can learn from. What would you mistake this gift for? Pile number one is the Page of Swords. And this is where I think this becomes more psychologically interesting, because this might indicate that you mistake this gift of knowing where you are, or of being determined towards something specific. You might mistake it with exploration, with being kind of, with this Page of Swords, having questions, endless questions, being curious. But also, when we look at this in this position, it might indicate that you mistake your gift for being research, or you can research endlessly, especially with this Virgo. You can research your path or something. You can research it endlessly. You can analyze it, ask questions of it, think about it endlessly, instead of actually putting effort. And so it might be mistaken for investigation, curiosity, theoretical knowledge, rather than experiencing the actual thing, which can delay your progress and your capacity to recognize how much effort you're capable of. Now, with the Seven of Pentacles, the hidden strength that you have related to this ability is, or this gift, is your ability to keep moving, because the Chariot can say that they keep moving. But the Seven of Pentacles sometimes stops and asks questions. I feel like with the Seven of Pentacles, the more you invest effort, the more you become experienced, and the more you're capable to put in even more effort. So it comes down to perseverance again, but it also comes down to being patient, and also understanding the balance between working hard and working smart. I feel like it's almost like the more you work in something, the more you put effort in something, and you establish that strong foundation in something or in some type of domain, you gain the ability to stop and reevaluate and see where you can maybe optimize your time, optimize your effort. So that is a very interesting strength here. It's also can be related to patience, but it also can be related to optimization. You always keep moving, but I feel like you adjust your approach and you persevere, because you at some point will see that you're building something real here. The Four of Swords is where this gift has already helped you. You can see this gift, I feel like, in your ability to recover, pause, and withdraw. I feel like at some point you needed rest, or you recognized that you need to step back, rest for a while, not do anything until clarity comes back to you. There is here an already established skill related to knowing when rest is needed, or having a balance related to work-life balance, or knowing how to take care of yourself when things get hard. When you don't have clarity, you don't just keep going harder. You recognize when you need to pause, withdraw, rest, and reflect before moving harder and harder, because sometimes we need rest, I'm sorry. Sometimes the most intelligent move is to stop, to recover and reconsider. And if you had such moments where you understand the importance of resting, and you have taken or the rest or the time necessary to regain clarity, that is where you can see this gift manifesting in the clearest way possible. I feel like you have a knowing when you need to retreat or regain strength, rather than kind of proceeding with even more hard work when you actually don't have that strength just yet. If you trust this gift, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And what happens is mastery. It's knowing how to handle your experience already. It's development. It's growing to a place where there is self-sufficiency. There is mastery. Again, there is expertise, but there is also a level of again, sufficiency or self-trust, trusting in yourself. But the Queen of Pentacles also has the ability to nurture others. So at some point, you're going to have, if you trust this gift of determination and resilience and hard work and direction, you become more grounded with this Queen of Pentacles. You understand who you are at your core, and you use your gifts in the right way. You know what matters most to you, and you are actually somebody who is able to make something happen, or to create something and to sustain it and to not let it get lost. So that is a very good result, because you kind of already have proven yourself to yourself with this Queen of Pentacles, and there's an element of substance to you that you can grow the more you embrace this gift. Also, again, the Queen of Pentacles is a queen that nurtures others, so it's a queen that is that has a lot of self reliance and independence, but it's also a queen that has just enough to sustain others too. If that is something you're looking for. The temperance here is answering what blocks you, and it's an interesting blocker because the temperance is normally a beautiful card of peace, of healing, of reaching a balanced state, or it's a gift, or it's thing related to regulation. But what blocks it's in this position answering what blocks you. And so what blocks you here is perhaps waiting too long before making the right move or before acting, trying to moderate, gather all the resources, trying like analyzing too much and taking too long to find the right approach. Maybe in a way, I feel like you might at some point, or you might right now be afraid, or you might have been in the past afraid of losing, afraid of, or asking questions of what if I cannot sustain this, or what if something unexpected comes through and it blocks my path, it blocks my goal. And what can happen when you have such fears, everyone's approach is different, but in this case I feel like the approach that you're doing or you're taking is constantly trying to find the best way that can give you the best outcome without causing you too much losses. And so believing, or kind of trying to find an approach that needs to be perfect so that you don't lose too much and you win just enough, that might be blocking you from actually taking action and embracing this gift. So you might forget or not, or be underestimating how much you're able to be determined and perseverant in your path. And instead of embracing this gift of perseverance and determination and kind of hard work and also patience for the long term, you try to, in a way, find a way that feels like at least if you lost, you wouldn't lose too much. And that can block you from being the determined, resilient, patient, and hard worker person that you actually are, because you're afraid of having something like fall or break down too much that it causes you a lot of hurt. And talking about hurt here, we have the Three of Swords answering my question of how the gift can be developed. And the Three of Swords here is the gift can be developed through going through those losses, through understanding that not everything is going to be perfect when you try it the first time. Sometimes it does, sometimes some things tend to work out perfectly from the first time, and some things they don't. And if we are afraid of that, we can never move. And so how you can embrace this gift is by losing or accepting the losses as sources or resources, or sources of information, sources of expertise, so that you can adjust your approach the next time and move without fear. Because a lot of people that we know about, people who are millionaires and billionaires and highly successful people, are people who lost many times before winning their first time. And so it's very important for you to move and to learn from your losses instead of letting them cripple you. You have to kind of transform the losses and the disappointments into expertise, because it's part of your own personal gift. The Devil at the end says, what are you growing into? And interestingly, the Devil here is a Capricorn card. And so we have almost like moving from, we don't have a Taurus card here. I mean, I don't really work with zodiac signs and minor arcana. I know that I know the major arcana, but I do not incorporate signs that much into the minor ones. So we kind of moved from Virgo into Capricorn, and what you are growing into is a higher octave of the earth energy, or the highest octave of the earth energy, which is the Devil. And the Devil being a Capricorn energy, can be about knowing one's own limitations and transcending them, transcending what trapped you in the past, what felt like shackles around your feet and hands, and or cuffs that kind of kept you behind. And so when you know what traps you, you release it and it becomes a level of expertise and power instead of something that controls you or traps you. And so you're growing into self mastery, because the Queen of Pentacles is also an earth energy. And so you grow into somebody who is not afraid of their personal power and who's not afraid of pursuing their goals, because they are now capable and they do recognize their gift. And you don't become enslaved by what traps you mentally or intellectually or emotionally. You have mastery over it. With the faith card here, this is answering my question of, what do you need to know about this inner gift? And interestingly enough, this faith card talks about this figure here. Her name is Peggy, and she has a stone that is purple. And I feel like they call it a royal purple stone, but I feel like it resembles an amethyst. It might be an amethyst, but that's not what matters, because she carries this stone and she does not know that it's an important stone, but she's almost like afraid of it because she thinks that it's more of a hindrance or an obstacle. It's like a wall instead of a gift, or instead of something that, like, she cannot see the gift, she sees it as an obstacle or a hindrance. And as you see outside of, or out of this stone, we see these three figures. They resemble the tarot in my opinion. This one is an angelic figure, and this one is carrying, perhaps, let me see, an earth, a globe in her hands, and this one is carrying a cup. And I feel like there is a lot of what she's missing on the fact that what she has is a gift, not an obstacle. And I feel like, as something that you need to know about your gift, is that you are already carrying something that feels more like a hindrance to you rather than a gift, and it's because you don't see it clearly. And I feel like the only way that you can see this gift is by having faith in yourself, by believing in your capacity of endurance and of persistence. That's how. So it says, I am more than I think I am. And it mirrors the idea of the Page of Pentacles, where perhaps you think that you're a newbie or you're somebody with not enough experience. The faith card tells you that to recognize or to embrace this gift, you need to have faith in your ability to persevere despite the losses and despite the disappointments, despite what feels like an obstacle. Because when you persevere and when you have faith in your capacity to achieve, that's when this gift is going to be embraced by you, and that's when you're going to achieve whatever you want to achieve, because it's coming naturally to you. This gift of perseverance and patience and endurance is coming naturally to you, but it might not be recognized by you because you might not have faith in yourself. So you're being called here to know that the way you can manifest or embrace this gift is also by having faith, by believing in your own capacity of enduring the losses that you have already went through. So you might be judging yourself as being small, while you are very much worthy of what you want and what you desire to achieve. And like, ask yourself a question of what looks like the personal inquiry of this card, as I see in the guidebook. Let me tell you. So it says, I have a tremendous amount of personal magnetism. Am I willing to allow myself to shine? So the keywords for this card are gifts, muse, and fear. So I find it very interesting that we got this card for you, pile number one, and it says, I am more than I think I am. Not accepting your gifts, it says, narrow focus and using energy in a self-defeating way, not following wise counsel, narrow focus. And I feel like this is a very important message for you, pile number one. Perhaps your desires and goals feel so big, and perhaps you see yourself as too small and unable to achieve them, and you're being called to, or you're being kind of made aware of the fact that you might be underestimating your capacity, and you might be afraid rather than embracing your gifts. It's very important for you to embrace your gift and have belief in yourself. The sea turtle next here, it says, let me tell you. So this one says, protection. You are master of finding life's flow. Be in harmony with the rhythm, and your path will unfold. Persevere and you will succeed. You have everything you need to be protected and happy. And so this is answering my question of what needs to be, or what is trying to be expressed or awakened through you. So pile number one, the turtle is an animal that carries its house on its back, right? So it's an animal that protects himself with his shell, but also he carries this house with him whenever he walks. So one thing that this card is kind of telling us about what is trying to be expressed through you with this gift, pile number one, is independence. It's self-mastery, self-sufficiency, relying on yourself. And I feel that perfectly fits with this Saturn in the ninth house, because when Saturn is in the ninth house, it kind of teaches you that maybe there's a lot of support that you did not receive in life. And maybe things did not align for you. Maybe nothing aligned for you for a long time, or since a very early age. And you had to earn everything, or maybe things were very slow to materialize for you. But what's trying to be expressed through you is self-reliance, is relying on yourself, protecting yourself, gaining your own experience through yourself, and not waiting for anyone's validation. And so, again, this mirrors perfectly the faith card. Nobody's going to... Sometimes people find themselves alone and not receiving support to pursue their endeavors. Maybe there weren't people there for you to validate you and to validate your path and your talents. And so what needs to be, or what is trying to be expressed through you, pile number one, is a gift of, or is an idea of independence, of self-reliance, of having faith and believing in yourself. Because if you don't have that outside of you, the only source that you can have it is from inside of you. So self-reliance, independence, protecting yourself and believing in yourself is what is trying to be expressed through you right now. And that is the only way at this point that you can find joy, or at least align with yourself, until you find people that actually support you and care for you. The love card here at the end from the Oracle, from the Secrets of the Wandwood Oracle. I think that's the deck. So this one is a final message about this gift. And as a message from your higher self, this card talks about, I think, late blooming. I feel like there's a paradox of resilience in this card with this love card. The love card talks about this leaf, this green leaf at the end of, or at the autumn, that feels like it's too fragile, or looks fragile, but it's so strong. And it feels, or it looks old, but it's so young. And as weird as that sounds, it's telling you that it does really talk, there is an element of late blooming here that doesn't take away your youth and doesn't take away your tenderness and your openness and love. So I feel like perhaps through all of the obstacles that you went through, you might find yourself sometimes having a lot of sadness or feelings of loss, and that might kind of challenge you into becoming emotionally rigid or hard, and challenge you and puts you sometimes in a place where you feel too old for something, or you feel like you're not as resilient as a young person. But I feel like this card is trying to tell you that the more love you give yourself, the more youthful you become. And it doesn't really matter what age you are. Even if you are old, you will bloom at some point if that is what you want. And if you embrace your gifts, you will bloom. You will be able to achieve what you want. The only way to keep your tenderness and to find joy in that is by love, is by giving yourself that sense of embrace. I feel it's very important because of this Three of Swords. A lot of disappointments in life that you have survived do not, they might again make you emotionally rigid. But if you remain open hearted, you will always feel young and you will always feel strong. I hope this resonates really, because it's a very interesting message. So, what is actually your inner gift is the ability to be determined, to find an actual path that matters to you, because that seems to be a very important gift here. And your ability to be resilient and to persevere, to work hard, and to turn your disappointment and losses into experiences and learning and into wisdom, rather than being hardened by them. So I feel like there is wisdom that you can gain through this experience, and you may be way much more resilient and strong and endurant than you realize. And you might be a late bloomer, which feels hard, but I feel like at some point you're going to be able to have fun and enjoy the results and the fruits of your hard work, even if you were at an old age. And that only can come through loving yourself and embracing life with an open heart, and not letting obstacles rigid or kind of harden you, and having faith in yourself and relying on yourself. So pile number one, this was your reading. I truly hope this resonated for you. If it did, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. Please email me. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. If you are interested in tarot readings that are love related or for relationship guidance, you can check my other channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number one, and see you next time. Hi, pile number two. If you have picked the opal, this is going to be your reading about what inner gift are you underestimating. And so let's start your reading. So pile number two, I would say that your gift, your inner gift that you might be underestimating or not recognizing, is the gift of being a visionary. There is an ability within you, pile number two, to see things from many perspectives, or to see many possibilities of what something can be or can become. And I feel like you don't even get lost in that gift. But let's uncover more of what the tarot does or has here for us, because there's a lot. So with Uranus being in the third house in Scorpio, the third house is the house of the mind, but it's also the house of perception, of learning, of communication. It's the house of information exchange, or gathering information. It's originally a house that is ruled by Mercury. But there we have Uranus, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Being in the third house in Scorpio, I feel like there is an enormous mental capacity that you have that you probably are not very aware of, and it's because it's operating on the deepest, most hidden, unconventional, original places. It's Scorpio, and Scorpio can talk about secrets, but it can also talk about hidden gifts. It can talk about things that need to emerge, or it makes your perception very penetrating. It penetrates the depth of situations, and it's capable of excavating all of the possibilities that can happen. You don't take things at face value, but it's more like you don't just take the face value, the first perception that comes in as the most accurate or the only one. I feel like you tend to perceive something from many facets at the same time. I feel like you also perceive not only from many perspectives, but also what's beneath the surface. And you might have a mind that detects patterns. You might be very, very intuitive, but it's more like a pattern recognition gift rather than an intuition one. I mean, we all have intuition, but I feel like what you have specifically is pattern recognition. Also, with Scorpio, recognizing the hidden and what could be possible rather than what's apparent in front of you. So you can see possibilities that people don't immediately see. And with this Two of Wands answering my question, my first question of what gift that you are underestimating, the Two of Wands is the ability to see beyond the immediate circumstances. The Two of Wands is a card of somebody or an energy of planning, of trying to foresee and trying to have a strategy. But in this specific case, it feels like and having Uranus as the higher octave of Mercury, you do more than just that. You do more than strategic thinking or planning. I mean, that comes as a consequence of your gift, but your original gift is the gift of being able to see alternative possibilities, alternative paths. Also, imagination is very important here. Being able to recognize hidden patterns that are fitting into structures. And so here, the gift may be related to being a strategizer. Strategizer, is that a word? Somebody who uses strategy, planning, somebody who foresees into many possibilities. If you resonate with the MBTI, the MBTI system, maybe you would be having NE, which is extroverted intuition, as the first function. You might be an ENTP or an ENFP, and I feel like that fits perfectly. An ENFP or an ENTP, I feel like it fits perfectly in here. You might even have debating capacity, but I don't see that being your main interest. It can be. I feel like if you engage in debates, you would be amazing, but I feel like that's not what you'd like to do. Why? Because I do have the Four of Wands here and the Three of Cups, and we're gonna see why you don't like to do that. But let's see. As I said, with this Two of Wands, I feel like your inner gift is having vision, but it's more like being able to see possibilities before they become realities, which means that you can strategize, you can plan, also being able to see what others can see, possibilities of what something can mean, other than the apparent value, being able to see patterns, again, other possibilities. And so it's very interesting, this gift that you might be underestimating currently. With the Temperance here, this is how this gift shows up naturally. And the Temperance is related to being able to gather things that are perhaps seemingly opposite in nature and being able to integrate them together and create something that is harmonious with them. So the Temperance can talk about alchemy. It talks about finding a middle ground. It talks about mediation when it comes to matters with people, combining different ideas, opposite ideas and opposite perspectives, and blending these opposite things and perspectives and ideas, and finding something that could kind of bring concepts and people and things and ideas and perspectives together. There's also, I feel like you do this naturally. So, this is how you would understand that you have this inner gift, pile number two. If you feel like you're somebody who acts as a mediator between people, or if you feel as somebody who doesn't take extremes, I feel like nothing can shock you, especially with the Seven of Cups. It's almost like you don't get shocked. You perhaps have this sense of knowing things before they happen, and it does not come from psychic ability. It comes more of, not that you don't have it. Again, we all have psychic abilities. It's more like it comes for you through seeing the possibilities of what can something be or become before it happens. And so when it happens, it doesn't shock you. And so with the Temperance, it happens, this gift naturally for you is recognized through mediation between people, but also bringing different and opposite pieces and ideas and concepts and figures together and making them work together as one entity. And I feel like it comes easily to you and naturally. The Three of Cups next is answering why you don't recognize this or underestimate this. And the Three of Cups, I feel once I got this card, I got the sense that you might be blending with people too much. You might be socializing to an extent that brings out that awareness from your gift into or it kind of hides that awareness of your gift. It probably feels to you as something that could be done by everybody. Or it might be something that tends to come easy when you connect to others. But I feel like through connecting a lot, or maybe blending with people with this Three of Cups, I feel like it tends to hide this gift from your awareness. It tends to blend into people, and perhaps you think that everybody can do this, while no, not everybody can do this. In fact, a lot of people struggle with being extremists, or kind of being stuck with one idea or one perspective and not wanting to compromise or see things from other people's perspectives. Also, perhaps you might translate that as being empathetic. And I feel like you do use this gift in working with people or in being with people rather than concepts. Very interesting. Perhaps you have secrets about people that they did not even tell you. Perhaps you know secrets or hidden facts about people that they did not disclose. And that helps you in creating harmony and working with people, collaborating with people. But it stays hidden from you because perhaps you think that everybody does that. I feel like you work a lot or you socialize a lot with people. With the Four of Wands, this one is answering my question of what do you mistake this gift for? And again, the Four of Wands feels like you might tell yourself that you are very good at harmonizing and bringing people together. But it's way much more than that. This is just one dimension of what you could do. You might know naturally, pile number two, that you are somebody who creates harmony wherever you go, that you create positive feelings and positive environment for people, and people around you feel like they could just kind of socialize in harmony. Perhaps you mediate between people. Perhaps you create a sense of conflict management, or you're very good at conflict de-escalation, something like that. And so you might recognize yourself as somebody who's a problem solver, or somebody who de-escalates conflicts, and somebody who's able to bring people together. But it's just one aspect of what you can do. You mistake your gift of being a visionary, of being somebody who sees things from many perspectives, and somebody who's able to see into hidden possibilities that others don't. You mistake that gift into with mediation, or with creating harmony between people, and help people come together. But it's more than that. It can extend to concepts. It can extend to ideas. And I feel like you might even be able to have a billion dollar idea, business idea, while you still don't recognize it. With this page of pentacles, this is how there's a hidden strength to you. The page of pentacles here is the ability to start investing in something, to kind of like build something. You can actually make your ideas real. And again, I feel like you might have a billion dollar idea that you are not aware of, and that you might be just thinking of, or you might be not bringing to the surface awareness. So when I'm reading this energy and all of these cards, I see somebody who's not aware of their gift. It's not like you're underestimating it, you're unaware of it. Unlike pile number one, it felt like something physical. For you, it feels like you're unaware of the full scope of what you can do. If you don't resonate with this, do not let me tell you who you are or what you should or can do. You're the only one who can know that. I'm just translating cards, literally. So the page of pentacles here says that your hidden strength, and I feel like, again, you're unaware of this probably, is your ability to make your ideas real. You have ideas, perhaps you did not experience making them real, or perhaps you feel like you are somebody that is still young or lacking in experience to make anything happen. And so it's either this or the other one. But either way, you still did not start acting or developing something related to an idea. Or even all of your ideas, you did not start working on them. Or perhaps you think that you should gain more skills, and you still did not develop those skills that are required to make your ideas come true. And so I feel like you're not aware of the fact that you can start already, and that you don't need to develop more skills, or you're not aware of the fact that you can. And it's a strength. It's almost like you don't need more skills. This is enough for you. You can start, and everything will fall into its place. I mean, that's not a practical advice. Really look at your situation, and yeah. So it really depends. But I feel like you're not aware of the fact that you can start something with your mind. You're more focused on people, and there is nothing wrong with that. But there is a possibility for you here to have a business, or to have a project work for you through just your mind. With this Seven of Cups, this is actually answering my question of where this gift has already helped you. And again, this is why I said at the beginning that you don't get lost in those possibilities that you perceive. This gift has already helped you in seeing many possibilities. As an example, maybe you find yourself in a tricky situation where you were perhaps at risk, or you needed to escape some situation. And the only thing that helped you is by imagining alternative routes and possibilities. And so I feel like this gift helped you in recognizing the importance of every possibility that you can imagine without getting lost in them. And again, I feel like you imagine or you explore different possibilities, different futures, different paths, without being lost in them. And so there's a sense of imagination here with the Seven of Cups that you don't get lost into. You just see, and with that you're capable to find solutions. Maybe you have different career paths. It really depends on each and every one of you, but maybe it's also different identities. Maybe maybe it's creativity, maybe you were doing something creative with the Seven of Cups. And so I feel like it helped you in seeing many possibilities and in thinking out of the box and in not being limited by one perspective or by one option. You can see how something can be solved in many ways and not feel trapped or restricted in one possibility. But at the same time, you don't get lost in this endless well or infinite well of possibilities. With the judgment, this is what can happen if you decide to embrace or trust this gift. And the judgment is an awakening card. This is the most basic interpretation. I feel like probably once you embrace this gift or see it for what it is and see it for what it can have or what it can do, I feel like maybe something is going to be revealed to you, especially with this lotus, with the sun behind the clouds. It feels like something is going to be revealed to you regarding why you are here, perhaps regarding what's your purpose and what is the best way to use this gift as. And it might be related to finding something in life that brings you and others fulfillment. Not that you have to ditch the working with people aspect at all, but I feel like once you trust this gift, you will be something will be revealed to you regarding perhaps its potential and what can be done to use it at its maximum growth. With this Page of Swords, this is what is blocking you from estimating or kind of looking straight at this inner gift or at taking advantage of this inner gift and seeing it for what it is. And so the Page of Swords can seem sometimes as if you're observing rather than acting, but it can also feel like endless analysis. Again, I don't see you getting lost in possibilities. You have full control of possibilities. Very, very lovely inner gift here. But I feel like you might find yourself questioning, analyzing, gathering more information rather than, and keep observing or watching rather than taking action. So perhaps you find yourself in a place of observation, because the Page of Swords has incredible perception, but when it's a block, it can be endless perception or endless observation rather than taking actual actions. Or perhaps again, I feel like you're seeing only the surface of this gift. So it's almost like you can see into possibilities and hidden depths of what something can be, but you don't do the same when it comes to your gift. Interestingly, I feel like you use it in collaboration with people and in mediation, but you don't use 90% of it. It's almost like it's only 10% that is being used in mediation, in helping people get together, in also reconciling opposites, whatever that means, depending on what you do. But I feel like 90% of this gift is not used, and it feels like it's not used because you're not aware of it. So again, I want to emphasize on the idea of you being aware to do this for other people and outside things outside of you, but you're not doing it for you. So that matters. If you're able to look into that more deeply, it would be very beneficial. The Tower here is telling us how is this gift going to be developed, or what is that you need to do that is going to help you develop or look at this gift from a clearer perspective. So the Tower can speak of awakenings, but it can also speak of letting your old self or your old beliefs or framework break down. Perhaps it's an understanding of who you are that needs to break down and rebuild. Perhaps those are assumptions. Maybe they are beliefs, limiting beliefs. Maybe they are perspectives and or identities of you that need to change. And the more you embrace a sense of transformation in who you are, and the more you embrace that excavation in your own self and identity, the more this gift develops. With this three, I hope that's clear. I mean, um, Uranus here is brings a lot of disruption, but the Tower is a Plutonian card. So your gift develops when you face more discomfort when it comes to your own personal identity. The Three of Swords here is at the end what you are growing into. And the Three of Swords is a card of loss, of grief, of pain. But I feel like mirroring the Scorpio energy, the Three of Swords can talk about you growing into somebody who's comfortable with pain, not indifferent to pain, but more like somebody who's capable of facing uncomfortable truths, because they are true, because they are a possibility. Somebody who doesn't shy away from uncomfortable truths just because they are painful or heartbreaking. Somebody who's able to embrace losses just because they know that they are part of the process itself, they are part of life, and because you know that loss is not the end game. So you become this resilient person who's able to go through loss without being deterred or broken down by it. So you're able to see things clearly, and it really shows up in this female figure who's probably looking at a male figure behind the, or a figure in general behind the window who's breaking her heart. So perhaps there is a betrayal here that she was looking at, and it caused her some heartache here. And so I feel like you're capable of seeing the truth even if it's painful, because you recognize that it's not the end possibility, and that there is more, and there is beyond the pain that you can get into, and that it's simply just part of life. Now, what do you need to recognize about this inner gift? Pile number 2 is the joy card. And the joy card is really a card of perhaps it's trying to remind you to understand that, you know, you're somebody who, again, brings a lot of joy into people by mediating, by reconciling them. But I feel like, yeah, that's maybe a possibility of what can this gift be translated as or used in, is to bring joy to others, maybe by only mediation, but maybe there is more that you can do that can bring joy to people. So one thing we can see is that just by being yourself, and I feel like by you seeing those possibilities and being this visionary person, you're able to approach life in a simple way with the simplicity card, and relax and feel inspired and hopeful, which would make people feel the same. So I feel like you are told here through this card that your gift brings people joy, and you're being called to experience that joy too, because perhaps I don't see you being uncertain, but perhaps you are. Maybe because there is more awareness that you need to cultivate about yourself. But I feel like the main message here is that your gift brings people joy, and the best thing that you can do is let yourself feel that joy. Let yourself feel that relaxation, that happiness that you bring to others. The lizard here says, as a survivor, you are unparalleled. I hope I pronounced that right. No matter what happens, you can adapt. Embrace your transformation. Put on your new cloak. You are a master of regeneration. So the lizard is a regeneration animal totem, because the lizard is capable of reinventing themselves. The lizard also reminds me of joy, of pure joy, because they're able to shed the cloak of sadness and move and regenerate themselves. They can recover, they can adapt quickly, and they can change make the best stunts ever, the funniest stunts when you try to catch them. So the lizard survives, is a survivor because of their ability to regenerate, to recover, but also to transform and to adapt. So something that needs to be, or that is trying to express itself through you, pile number 2, and through this inner gift, is your capacity to regenerate yourself and help others to regenerate too. So there is this archetype of regeneration that is trying to awaken through you. Why? Because of this visionary ability that you have, and I feel that's why we have the Temperance and the Three of Cups. That's why we have your ability to mediate and to bring harmony into people's lives, is because this aspect, this archetype, is trying to express itself through you and through this inner gift here. And with this Three of Swords, this reinforces the message here. There is a connection that you have through moving beyond pain, moving beyond losses into more healing. And so I feel like a lot of healing, a lot of regeneration, transformation is trying to express itself through you because of your gift. And I feel like it can also help others. The Simplicity card as a final message for you, pile number 2, about this inner gift, is a beautiful card that talks about the way that this gift can express itself, especially with the joy and the regeneration. I feel like you have an enormous gift for helping others. And again, with the Judgment, a revealed purpose perhaps related to that, if that's something you resonate with. You can bring a lot of joy and regeneration and healing to others. You have to bring it to yourself first, though. And the Simplicity is trying to tell you that just by the simplest acts possible, you can bring that. You don't have to do enormous effort or complicated effort or complicated measures to help people or to help yourself. Just by the Simplicity talks about clearing the clutter. As you see, this figure here is using the broomstick to clear the path for others, and the simple act of clearing the path for others is something that she or he enjoys. And also because it clears the clutter and it makes things simple, not only for them but also for other people who would feel more relaxed going through the path that is already clean. And so one way that you can use your gift is by simplifying things for others too. So your gift helps others feel joy, feel healed, regenerated, and also simplify things for them. So at the end, as a conclusion, you might underestimate your ability to envision possibilities and your ability to reinvent yourself and help others reinvent themselves too, and also reconstruct themselves and kind of bring joy to them. But mainly it all comes from one inner gift of connecting unrelated things, because you perceive possibilities and patterns that others don't. So this is all I have for you, pile number 2. I hope this reading resonated for you. If it did, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe so we won't miss any future readings. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. But you can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. If you would like to look into tarot readings that are love related and for relationship guidance, you can check my other channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 2, and see you next time. Hi, pile number 3. If you have picked the Labradorite, this is going to be a reading about what inner gift are you underestimating. And so let's start your reading. So pile number 3, I feel like the gift that we can extract right from the beginning is the gift of knowledge. But there is also something specific related to discernment. Right now, with the sun in the second house in Leo, I feel like, first of all, I'm getting that there is something ancestral related to this inner gift. Perhaps there is something that, or somebody that you know already, someone who's an ancestor, or perhaps you don't know, but I feel like there is an inherited thing here related to knowledge, related to intellectual wisdom too, and the gift of discernment. With the sun here in the second house in Leo, as I said again, it feels ancestral, but it also feels refined through you, even if it was inherited or in a way, yeah, inherited. It seems or it sounds refined. It seems like it's kind of been expressed through you as something that you possess internally, and something that you have developed, especially with the sun. It feels like it's illuminating a place, or a place, yeah, of self-worth. And I feel like you might be underestimating yourself as a whole in here, pile number 2. Leo here is related to creative self-expression, confidence, bold visibility, and leadership ability here. And I feel like this reading today is trying to put your intention back into your self worth and into what you are possessing within yourself, of this inner gift that you're not recognizing as valuable, or perhaps underestimating. The King of Swords here is interesting because your gift is an intellectual ability that you don't necessarily associate with your own personal worth. I feel like it's something that just happens with you naturally. And in a way, you might say something like, I just operate this way, or I just think this way, or I just have an opinion. But it's one of your resources. It's one of your most valuable assets that you might not really being careful about, and you're underestimating. And so the King of Swords, as an inner gift here that you might be underestimating, is the gift of knowledge, intellectual decisions, making intellectual decisions, analysis, communication, the ability to distinguish facts from assumptions, what is scientific or proven from what is delusional, and kind of the gift of discerning what is real from what is perhaps emotional or foggy or delusional. So I feel like you have natural leadership in this domain of knowledge that you are underestimating, and you're probably even judging yourself for that, with this sun in the second house in Leo as something that you need to put attention, or kind of give more attention to. So you're being called to giving more attention to your self-worth, to coming back to yourself and understanding what do you possess as valuable, that is valuable. Now, with the Knight of Wands, it seems like this gift is shows up naturally in perhaps getting excited about feeling about ideas, feeling passionate about wisdom, about knowledge, about intellectual topics, about even scientific facts, being passionate and bold about communication, like communicating intense in an intense way. I feel like some people would kind of describe you as being intense when they communicate with you about some topics that you like. Perhaps you're passionate about intellectual topics, and you come off as somebody who's bold and very expressive and gets very intense and energetic whenever some topic are brought up. I feel like even people resort to you for your insight. So you have a sharp mind here with the King of Swords, but also you have boldness and passion to you, like a strong drive energy. You're also a thinker, but I feel like you balance that with emotions. You're not inherently kind of very cold or intellectualized through everything. You're just very insightful and you see through things, but you do not kind of let that rigid or dishearten you in a way. With this Two of Cups, I feel like this maybe is not recognized by you as a gift, because maybe maybe you might think something around with this Two of Cups as, I'm not sure if you're married, maybe you're not, but, or if you might say something like you're good at this because somebody helped you, or because you may say that people tell you, I feel like some people would tell you about this gift, but you might say something like, people just tell me that because they love me or they care about me. And so you might also say something like you understand, or you have an intellectual understanding because you care about those topics, or you care about people if it's about people. So I feel like you might also have a form of intelligence related to connections or relationships or emotional connections, and maybe even emotional intelligence. You might discover what you think by sharing it with another person. So your intelligence, again, is not only cold or logical or only rational, there is an emotional component to it. So it might be even something related to relationships. It's not an isolated, cold, robotic intellectual process. You're not like a bot. You're a human with great intellectual ability, and that's what we call wisdom. I feel like you have a real experience of knowledge. With the Page of Swords, I feel like you might mistake your gift by saying something like, or by thinking that you're curious, that you're analytical, that you like reading, that you like learning. You might say something like, or you might see yourself only as somebody who likes learning, who likes analyzing, who likes reading books, who's curious and who likes debating or arguing. And so I feel like you see yourself as the Page of Swords, while what's actually happening is that your inner gift is a King of Swords. And so you see yourself as this curious, ready to learn, open, somebody with a growth mindset, who's ready to learn, who's open to perspectives, who's ready to absorb knowledge, while you actually are way much beyond that place and that level, and you are at a King of Swords level, where you're capable of making decisions, of making conclusions, and of discerning, and you're not even aware of that, or you're confusing your gift for curiosity or for just a desire for learning. And that's a great mindset. Whenever we think that we know everything, that's just where we might not know anything. But I feel like at some point it becomes debilitating rather than something that empowers us or makes us explore our full potential. With the Hanged Man here, I feel like your greatest strength is your ability to remain strong through, or surrender through uncertainty. It's almost like you don't jump into conclusions, or you don't fill in the gaps just because you're uncomfortable with the unknowing or not knowing. You're able to pause and wait for information to come through. You're able to not judge too fast. You're able to stay still until clear discernment comes to you, and you're not very rigid in your perspective, or you don't hold on to a perspective so tightly. And so you're able to step beyond your point of view to receive the truth or to receive information, and you're not uncomfortable in not knowing. So it feels like an egoless place, to be honest, because you do not attach your ego to being somebody who knows everything. And that's a very good place, again, to be at. You seem to be approaching your life from a learning perspective, very open and very, very receptive. And that seems to be what is cultivating, what cultivated this inner gift within you, is your receptivity. Because the more we're rigid, the more or the less we are receptive. And so knowledge does not come easily to us. With the Six of Pentacles here, where this gift has already helped you, Perhaps it helped you in I'm sorry so perhaps it helped you in practical matters. Maybe it helped you in helping others. It manifested when you were able to give and support others, or also receive support from others. And again, this is why I was saying that with this King of Swords, it's like a mature place to be at. The King of Swords is air of air, and so it shows a pure element of knowledge. And in this case, just through the whole spread, it feels egoless. But there is also an ego in not recognizing our self worth. So the Six of Coins or of Pentacles here seems to be where this gift manifested so far, and where can you recognize it, which is in giving help to others and receiving help from others, or knowing how to give and receive, or understanding even balanced give and take, and understanding healthy boundaries. I feel to a great extent you were able to be generous towards others, but you were also able to keep boundaries where you're not drained, and you're not your life force is not sucked out of you. So you might have a natural ability to understand people and to understand healthy boundaries, but to also understand how to support people. It's very interesting. There's a lot of balance in how you give and receive in here, but it seems like you're not aware of the full capacity of your mind and the authority that your gift has. With the Knight of Pentacles, this is what happens when you truly trust this gift. The Knight of Pentacles seems like an important shift, because perhaps you have this Knight of Wands as a drive, and it kind of adds more fire to your air. But the Knight of Pentacles seems to be giving you some grounding. I feel perhaps maybe when we have knowledge with this King of Swords, it stays theoretical. So the challenge at some point when we are filled with theoretical knowledge becomes, are we able to ground it and make something happen out of it? And that's when the Knight of Pentacles steps in. So instead of becoming just excited with this Nine of Wands, you're thinking about working with this knowledge or working with this capacity consistently, and perhaps making something happen out of it. It might be, kind of giving your ideas some type of a structure. And this is where it reminds me of the sun in the second house. So value. I feel like if you embrace your gift, you're going to learn more about your value and how you can ground it into structure. I hope this makes sense, because I feel like this is the only way I can interpret this right now, mainly because it's a general reading. It might be a literal project, because the King of Swords is a place of ideas, inspiration, intellectual knowledge. It stays. It's only a book knowledge. It's as detailed as it might be and as strong as it can be. It's valuable, but to see something actually that we can sense happen or kind of become out of it is another deal. And I feel like once you embrace this gift, that's what's going to happen for you. Is there's a big deal of self-recognition that's going to happen for you, but it's going to become, or it's going to be consistent, rather than something that is kind of just brings you excitement or brings you passion. It's going to be require you some grounding. With the Nine of Wands, I feel like what blocks you from embracing your inner gift is perhaps defensiveness that is born from previous experiences, from previous wounds. I don't know if there were failures in the past, and maybe at some point you were a page instead of a king, and that's totally normal. We all start somewhere. Not everybody is born with a king energy, Some people are, we cannot deny that, but some people aren't, and there's nothing shameful about that. There's nothing like a failure. It's not failure. And so perhaps at some point, with this Nine of Wands, you have gone through trials and errors, and therefore there might have been experiences of difficulties or failures. And I don't like that word, but it's true, it's real. So I feel like it might cause you to second guess yourself, and perhaps there is a, a resistance to recognizing yourself, recognizing your gift, just because you're afraid of what punishment can come through that. That's what I'm getting. Some sort of punishment because it felt like it in the past. So maybe there's an avoidance of, there's a fear of what could fail or what could crumble. And there's an avoidance of repeating past painful experiences. And that seems to be what is kind of causing or building this wall between you and your inner gifts. The Wheel of Fortune next is how this gift can be developed by you. And I can say something related to going with the flow. But the Wheel of Fortune can be as an advice for you here on how to embrace this inner gift, to recognize the flow, recognize timing, recognize circumstances that you can or cannot control, and move, adapt to those circumstances. So before you're already somebody who, with this hanged man, very comfortable with uncertainty, but at some point the hanged man can be a blocking point where we are surrendering forever. And so the Wheel of Fortune tells you that at some point you're gonna need to figure out the right opportunity and let it evolve and work towards it. And when some things seem to change plans, or some things seem to not go through or according to your plans, the best way for you, because you do have this adaptability to your intellectual gift, is to adapt to the changes, to not assume that you are already failing if your previous, or if your plan A failed. Do not assume that it's a disappointment or it's a loss. You might be able, or you might be kind of surprised of your ability to come up with a plan on right away, like when that change happened, and be adaptable, like adapt to the changing situation and come up with a plan. You might be surprised at your intellectual ability. I feel like that's how you can develop it, is by exercising that mental power that you have. Also exercising the discernment ability, so by understanding when is the right timing to act, and when is it the right opportunity, and where were some things or some circumstances blocking the way or the path that you couldn't possibly control as a human being or as a soul living a human experience. So with the Ace of Wands at the end, this is what you are growing into through this gift. And the Ace of Wands reminds, or get us back into this Knight of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is inspiration. It's a creative idea. It's a new idea or an inspiration for a project or for a direction, or it's a new form of self-expression. It's a new source of motivation even. And so because we also have a lot of fire energy, we have Leo, Knight of Wands, Ace of Wands, and we have a beautiful mixture, to be honest. Nine of Wands here. So we have all of the elements here, interestingly. And so I feel like at some point you're growing into somebody who's able to embody your creative force because of the sun in Leo and the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. There is a mixture of air and fire here. I feel like you're moving from a place of being excited, maybe not consistent with this Knight of Wands because it struggles with being inconsistent. It's raw, but the Knight of Wands sometimes needs refinement. We need the raw energy of the Knight of Wands, but too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Sometimes we need actually a refined state of fire energy rather than a raw one. And so I feel like there is a real creative development that is going on and that is going to happen. With this enlightenment card here, this oracle specifically answers the King of Swords. As you see, there is a figure here that feels like a mentor, perhaps, but it mainly says something related to the fact that your experience that has the capacity to guide others, or your inner gift that has the capacity to guide others. So I feel like, if in a way, if you ever embrace these inner gifts, there is a capacity for you to help others reach their own gift of, related to also knowledge and intellectual power here. But this card has a condition. It has a condition related to looking at oneself, or the famous saying, knowing thyself. So it is in knowing yourself that you can become aware of your thoughts and what drives your choices. Because the personal inquiry of this card, enlightenment, is that the main enlightenment that we can get is through understanding our own nature. Again, the personal inquiry is, my thoughts always drive my choices. How can I use my thoughts to heal myself? So there is here a condition to you embracing your inner gift, and it is related to becoming aware of your own world, of your own inner world, looking at your fears, especially with this Nine of Wands card, looking at what motivates you, looking at your passions, looking at what makes you happy. So it's interesting for you to embrace some type of self-inquiry and soul-searching, because the more you do that, the more you reach clarity, and with that you can help others reach clarity too. The B card says community. You are a powerful creator. Your work blesses everything you touch. Be open to receiving sweetness. You are the queen of abundance. So yeah, it says the queen, but you can be a male or a female. It says a king, and you can also be a male or a female. So this B card seems to be telling us an important information about what is trying to express yourself through you. And the bee becomes powerful, or it's almost like it's encouraging you to create something outside of yourself that extends beyond yourself, something that perhaps serves others. The bee here is a community-oriented insect or creature. It's productive, it's focused towards the good of all, it's collaborative, it's creative, and it has a purpose. And I feel like what is trying to kind of express itself through you is being of service to community and recognizing your inner gift, being truly honest and embracing this inner gift will kind of help you bless everything you touch here with this card. Just as it says, it helps you give back to community and give back to others. And I feel like perhaps that is already part of something that you, or kind of something that motivates you. I feel like you would like to contribute to something larger, and that seems to be wanting to express itself through you. And in a way, the way to do that is by embracing this inner gift. At the end, the unlock card as a final message for you. This one has some sort of a dragon, and I love dragons. And this dragon here and this card, it might not be a dragon, but it does look like a dragon or form of reptilian here, maybe. So this is a perfect final card because it talks about unlocking you. The unlock card talks about the fact that you can try many keys to open one door, but the only one that can open that door is the one that comes from knowing yourself. It's very interesting that we have the same message from unlock and from enlightenment. And there is here a very important guidance to you, pile number 3, related to asking yourself questions, trying to understand who you are, trying to understand your gift, trying to understand what are your motivations. And that is the only way that you can unlock this gift, but that is the only way that you can unlock perhaps a purpose that feels more fulfilling to you. One that connects you to other people, maybe, if that is something that you would like to do in life, which is being of service to others, or kind of giving to community beyond, or maybe creating something that is beyond yourself. So the King of Swords sometimes can become very adept at analyzing everything and being opinionated about everything, or giving insight about everything except themselves, and that might be a blind spot sometimes. In this case, you're being asked to look at that blind spot if it ever exists, and ask yourself the right questions, and again practice self-inquiry. And the more you're curious about yourself, the more you unlock this gift, and the more you're going to be able to give back to others too. So at the end here, I believe that your inner gift that you might be underestimating is your ability to be intellectually given to others, and your ability to turn your intelligence into something that has purpose, that serves others or serves a larger community here. So I feel like the best way for you to recognize or to become aware of the full extent of this gift is by practicing self-inquiry, being curious about who you are and what are your motivations in life, and what do you want to be, or what do you want to do in life. So pile number 3, this is all I have for you for today. I hope this reading resonates for you. If it does, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. And if you'd like to look into tarot readings that are love related or that are relationship guidance focused, you can check my other channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 3, and see you next time.